for $400, I wouldn't say it's worth it. If it's $350 plus tax, it'd be worth it. But if they're planning to, if they want to beat Xbox, and this is me as an
They
Xbox
already
player,
are.
well, not really.
Well, but
They're
anyway, you bring up
outselling
a,
them every month, even though they don't have the power crown. So, like, why would they? I'm just saying, I disagree with your reasons for why they're doing it. Like, if they're saying, "Oh, we need to get the power back to beat Xbox," they're already doing it without the power, so they don't need the power.
There's
I
more.
think,
There's more 4K 120 hertz titles on the Xbox than there
but
is
let me no
PlayStation
no, but
5.
you
yeah, but
let me
they're all
say
back.
this.
They're all back compat games.
Okay, but let me say this though. Let me say this. Okay, and you
Look how
brought up,
many are on the PlayStation 5. They're not
but
all
but
next
draw.
gen. They're
Okay,
all last gen too. So
but
Okay,
let me say this though.
hold on, quick wise. In the newest 4K 120 game on the Xbox Series X, that's not a backwards compatible game from the 360 for Xbox One generation.
perfectly, Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite runs 4K 120. I can run it 4K 120 on my LG TV. That's an OLED.
Okay, and another one.
Another one, Gears. There's plenty of freaking games. We can go all day.
But let me say this.
I don't think you can. But that's okay. Go ahead.
those games are demanding because they actually have a co-op. They have multiplayer and single player. What does Sony have? Okay, they got a single player game. Okay, good. I watch a million cutscenes. You don't need 120 frames for a single player game. I get it. If you had a multiplayer game, that would make sense. If you're just got a single player game, maybe 30 frames would be just fine. Personally,
right, but we're talking about personal biases now. It doesn't play into anything here.
Well, let me just say this though. Let me inject.
You're the one that want to come at me, so I'm just telling you how it is.
John, so let me say this. Let me say this. Let me say this before we get carried forward. So Drawn did bring up a good point. So usually when they make a slim model, it does come with a price cut. So Super, do you think there's going to be a price cut with this when they launch this potential console or this new slim?
With the one that we're seeing here, I don't know if they come out with a slim, 100%, because the slims always have a price cuts. We'll probably get price cuts on even the regular models because that's what always happens. A couple of years. I'm surprised we haven't gotten them yet. Being far into the generation. With the
we
slim,
actually got a price increase, but that's a different story.
With this current model, I don't necessarily know it'll get a decrease. I think they'll just sell it for what the PS5 digital edition is selling at, and just phase out the old SKU. If we got a price cut, that'd be awesome. But I don't know if that's what we're going to get with this particular.
Well, they've already factored in a price cut for the current SKUs for $50 US. And that's worldwide as of the start of August. So if they go for the slim and it's 30% cheaper to construct, they'll have an even bigger margin to do a price cut if they want to. They could knock another 30 or 40, possibly $50 a unit off it, and then you're down into the get you into the early 300s. So that's competitive beyond all reason, and they would be leaving huge amounts of money on the table for the sake of accelerating their market penetration, which is what they said in their earnings call this week, that they'll continue to reduce the price so they can meet the 25 million units in 1 year. That's, their forecast is expected to increase in terms of their sales. For whatever they're going to do is going to be cost neutral. So the revenue and the cost is going to be pretty close. Yeah, I don't think that it'll be an expensive piece. I reckon it will cop at least another $50 reduction when they release it.
Well, actually, let me ask you this thought, okay, David? Since you're talking here, PlayStation has last gen was like 120, roughly about 100 consoles. Something like that, like 117 or something around that area. So let's just round it for a good measure. Say 120, right? And Nintendo also has now sold from their Switch 120 million approximate consoles as well. So PlayStation is probably looking at Nintendo console for console comparisons and saying, okay, you know what? Nintendo is rumored to be releasing their next iteration next year. So
Yeah.
What do you think about this theory? Do you think that they're going to wait for the price cut, not this year, but next year, to go basically toe to toe with Nintendo's new console? Because I know nobody here really plays it, but at the same time, you can't ignore the sale numbers, right? I mean, 120 consoles are 120 million consoles are 120 million consoles. But so that being said, everyone is like looking at that and saying, okay, will they be able to repeat or replicate the same success with Switch as they do with Switch 2? And one way they will be doing it is because Nintendo has historically always not undercut, but come below the other two competitors, be it Xbox or Sony. And that being said, so my question would be that, okay, so if Nintendo is going to be releasing their console next year, and the rumor is that they're trying to get into that $399 price range, that would be seen for me from a business perspective, a optimal time to offer the PS5 price cut, so that now when a person goes into your Best Buy or your GameStop, and now you have two consoles that are roughly price-wise near parity. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it wouldn't be any different to what happened with the PS4s and the Switches. They were about the same price when the Switch released. I think it was about $30 dearer than what the PS4 was at the time. Down here it was, at least. But you got to remember, the Switch is a hybrid. It's more of a handheld than a base console. It's a hybrid build, and something like 60% or 70% of PlayStation owners also own a Switch. So there's a massive crossover there. Everyone's saying, well, why isn't PlayStation doing a handheld? Well, if they did a handheld, they'd be competing against the Switch, and that's just suicide at the moment. So they stick to their lane and progress in what they're currently planning to do. When the Switch comes out, if the PS5 is a similar price point, it'll be a matter of those that want to buy a Switch will buy a Switch because it's got the types of games on it, and it's got the platform that how they want a game. Those that want to buy a base console PS5 will buy the PS5. I don't think the price variance is going to have a huge impact, because eventually 7 out of 10 people are going to have both. And that's not to say that you shouldn't be looking at it from a competitive standpoint. But when the Switch comes out, if they can get it to $349, they'll be doing very, very well. There'll be some old tech in there based on what they're currently trying to put into it. And that's not a bad thing, because they don't need to have things as big as a bloody PlayStation, trying to run those top end 4K games. It's more of a souped up mobile phone is what they're trying to build into it. But they can get it done. They'll get it done for a decent price. Nintendo can eat a bit of a loss on the console sale because of how they never put their games on sale. So you want to play
but they never release a console that they don't make profits on. I don't think Nintendo adopts that model of loss leader.
No, they won't. They won't take a loss. They won't take a massive loss on the console. But what I suppose what I'm trying to say is they won't seek to make 20 or 30% profit on the console. They'll run it at a very slim margin so that it's cost covered at delivery, and then they will continue with their current strategy, which makes them a crap ton of good money. And because there's no reason to change it, they've got an ecosystem that works. But yeah, in terms of what it'll be, if they make it $399 and the PS5 Slim's at $349, well, they're in the ballpark, but they're going to own both eventually. And those that are going to upgrade to a Slim will mean that there's going to be a crap ton of older PS5s in the second-hand market, which will help bring the price of the new retail down anyway, because it'll have, there could be 10 or 15 million original PS5s floating around. And if people want to sell them, or, GameStop or whoever it is trading them, they won't be paying the $499 if the new ones are only $349. So yeah, there'll be an influx of more price sensitivity around that, but the pressure will come from the second-hand market more so than the competition in that respect. So it'll be interesting. I reckon Christmas next year, you'll be looking at, you can get a brand new console. You'll be able to get either a brand new Switch or the latest version of a PlayStation or Xbox for less than $400.
Okay, cool.
Well, think about how long the Switch has been on the market, because they're probably going to start reaching the market saturation with that product, even if they come out with a Switch Pro. Like, how many people are going to upgrade from a Switch to a Switch Pro? I'm sure it'll be a good amount, but I don't think it'll be a significantly large amount. With both Xbox and PlayStation, they haven't gotten anywhere near reaching market saturation for them. So I think that even if they're priced similarly, and I don't think that Switch and a PS5 are really competing against each other. Like he was saying that 70% have both. I always see Switch as that's the additional console. Right? People have a PC and a Switch, or an Xbox and a Switch, PS5 and a Switch. I don't see.
Well, no. So you're talking about
both.
You're talking about, like, for example, like us a hardcore. Like, for example, I think all of us either have 2 consoles or 3 consoles respectively here, right? But if you're talking about your average consumer and a parent who's going in during Christmas time to buy a console, most parents don't get their kids 2 consoles or 3 consoles. They'll just go in and buy one. And yeah, that's the thing. And another thing that you said about a Switch Pro, rumors suggest that they're not doing an iteration of the Switch. They're doing an actual hard next generation version of it. So whether they call it Super Switch, Switch 2, whatever.
Yeah. If it's like an actual new console, like it's not a Switch with upgraded
console,
internal.
It's the next generation of the console. It's not like an upgrade.
That's a big difference.
What price do you think? What price do you think the Switch would be at?
The rumors are right. Yeah, the rumors are. No, the rumors are is that they're trying to hit. No, they're not going to go over $400. That's the rumor. That's their hit range.
Yeah.
They're not going to do a Steam Deck where they're going to release a $700 handheld.
Are they partnering? Are they partnering with Nvidia or AMD? If so, they could possibly make it way more powerful and run.
Well,
maybe
partnered.
1080p at 60 frames, and then have it at $400.
Well, they've always partnered with AMD.
It depends.
They've been back and forth. Yeah.
You were saying, Praxis, about all this?
Oh no, to me it seems like it's been long enough since the Switch has come out that this is the next generation of the console. This isn't just an add-on or something else, and it may be backward compatible. It's possible, especially with the library of the Switch, but there's no guarantee even of that per se, because they've had other backward compatible consoles. The Wii was backward compatible with the GameCube, and then the Switch or the Wii U is compatible with the Wii, and so we have kind of a carryover in a way, but it all depends on what their goal is, and if they're pushing it at all. If they're pushing any kind of increased power that might push it closer to the other consoles, I could see them hit a $400 price point. They hit $350 for the Switch, so I mean, it's possible. It's in the realm of reason.
There's an awful lot of they're leaning a lot into AI and DLSS upscaling and whatnot to get the output. So if a lot of it's software based, so there's not a massive drain on the hardware to be able to meet those targets, but they're talking somewhere in the range of PS4, Xbox One level output. So it may do 4K if it's docked, but it certainly won't do 4K on its screen.
Well, no reason to if it's a 1080p screen. That's the savings right there. Yeah.
But then you think about the games that are on a Switch that are likely to be on the Switch too, and the type of artwork and the type of display that they're not pushing for realism, because most of it's Mario's not going to become real, Pokemon's not going to become real. You look at the top 10 sellers and massive games that people buy a Switch for, or parents buy the Switch for their kids. There's only 5 or 6 games that basically, or 5 or 6 IP that dominate that. And then you got Square that do all their, and Capcom and all the other Japanese publishers that do their AA RPG stuff. And then you get a few other bits and pieces that pop up on it. None of them are trying to push for that. You must have 4K to enjoy this game. I think there'll be compromises made, and and we'll probably still be having the same conversation in 5 or 6 years after its release, going, why haven't they pushed the technology forward to get better looks out of it, or better fidelity out of it? But the realistic point is that they're just not interested in chasing that level. And if that allows, if they can get close to it with the machine learning or the DLSS upscaling or whatever else it is, that the AI tech they're trying to build into it, then it gets them close. Well, that's great because it keeps the pricing down. But again, it's all just based on what we've been able to garner and what we've seen from some of the supply lines and the chip manufacturers and whatnot, that what they're putting into this thing. So it's not, I mean, the internals of it aren't too far away from what a mobile phone has in terms of its computing power. And its display is probably going to be something a bit dated. It's probably a nice way of putting it. It won't be cutting edge. I actually don't think, from what I've seen, that they're going to change out the LED screens they've currently got in the current model. So
they're going to go with an LCD screen instead of OLED just to save money off the beginning right there, just because that's going to be money. The other thing is, you got to consider the Switch console was based on tech that was released in 2015. It was the NVIDIA Shield. It was an older processor, had been around a couple of years, so it wasn't even the newer version of that processor. But that was
a Tegra, I believe.
Yeah, it was a Tegra 2, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a Tegra 2.
That pile of steaming dog poopy.
Well, yeah, it got the job done mobile as far as, and it worked for a while. But I think their bigger concern isn't necessarily. It is going to be their biggest.
I mean, you can technically say the Switch 2 has already hit the market. It's called Steam Deck. Just gonna put that out there, because I mean it literally plays.
So they don't count.
Let me go grab my emulator.
Sorry guys, I got to.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to jump in. I got to head off, lads. Thanks for the chat. Have a good show. Don't drink too much, Wize. You need to finish the show before you get dragged. All right.
Thanks, David. Appreciate it.
See you, lads. Have a good one.
That's a good. Well, actually, we can go ahead and use that. Well, let me just say this. Does anyone else have anything to add to this topic before we move on?
It's a plastic box.
Let's move on.
As far as my opinion on it, because I was never asked. At least
sorry. My bad.
He's like, oh, damn, here, motherfucker.
Like everyone else is jumping in, you need to jump in as well, man.
Yeah, well, I try to be
some elbows, man. Make some room. Get in here.
Polite. That doesn't exist in this podcast. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Anyways, as far as the whole plastic box, yes, it is a mock-up. It looks like it's a hollow model. I'm more interested in what the internals are going to look like, because again, I'm actually half tempted to buy one to tear it apart and see what they have in it. See what part numbers lead back to where, and if there's any improvement on the parts, or if they're just, oh look, same parts from the original PS5, just different shell.
Well, it can't be exactly
the same box,
right? Yeah, because I mean, in order to get it down that size, they have to go down to another nanometer process. I would presume, their chip has to get smaller so they don't need such a cycle. Yeah, because otherwise they would need the same size heatsink. Which smaller, though.
Right. I mean, they've already reduced the amount of girth on the heatsink as it is in the PS5 as is. So,
and honestly, I wonder if that was the reason a lot of people that were playing Final Fantasy 15 were getting that like overheating message. Because I'm on a launch PS5 and I never got that message. And my PS5 is kind of in a little enclosed shelf thing, and I ran it for hours and hours and I never got the message. So maybe people that experienced that had the smaller heatsink.
Wasn't that because they changed the copper wiring in their heatsink? Basically, like it was at one time the heatsink was a sizable metal piece of copper, and then the new ones or the next version of the PS5, I think they reduced the heatsink a little bit, but I don't know.
It's like half the size. Yeah, it's much smaller.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else have anything to say about this? All right. So, nobody else is drinking. So fuck it. I'm drinking. Okay.
No, I don't have anything else to say, but I do have two new toys that I just received in the mail. So
Okay, are those toys that you can actually show? Well, you can show anything on this podcast. We're not being monetized. Go ahead.
no, lightsaber. What? You never seen lightsabers?
Well, yeah, go ahead.
I'm showing them on camera.
I thought I saw a lightsaber underneath my wife's underneath our bed the other night, but I don't think that was a lightsaber. But it did glow. But anyhow, so
RGB dildo.
Hey, maybe she has to do something in the dark that I'm not aware of. All right, now next topic is a small topic. I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. It's Ryan McCaffrey's tweet earlier this week regarding their opinion about the PSVR 2. He came out and he said that, even though he is impressed with the tech inside the PSVR 2, it is gathering dust. And he showed a picture on Twitter. And of course, Twitter, in its normal fashion, erupted and started, I don't know, both sides started one side was lambasting, one side was supporting, and then, everything, all hell broke loose.
I've got the perfect quote for that.
Okay, go for it.
And here we go. And all the fanboys now enter the chat.
Okay. Well, what do you got?
Joking aside, I mean, it's, again, VR is kind of that whole niche thing as far as some people are concerned. I mean, if you think about it, it's not for everyone. Not everyone's going to want to do it. And, it's just, VR is more for those who want that, what I would call interactive experience, like being in the game. So, like, more for like your flight simulators, racing simulators, stuff like that.
I've been wanting to buy. I bought the original PSVR. The PSVR 2. I wouldn't say it was the finances of it in the sense that it was like a $600 purchase if you include
That's expensive.
The game and actually more than $600 if you include the game and the PlayStation. Well, no, you don't. No, not the console, but just the games. And if you buy like the Call of the Wild bundle, that's $600. Plus, if you bought the charger, there'll be another $50. So you're looking at $650, and a little bit more than that. So yeah. But my thinking was like, okay, well, by the way, Doggy 420, what's up, boss man? How you doing? Thank you for tuning in. Please ask a question and I can pose it to the chat, please. So my question is like, okay, so yeah, I didn't buy it, but then again, like the games that they showed me and the gamer that I am doesn't really gravitate towards PSVR 2. And I noticed that a lot of people on Ryan McCaffrey who were like defending Ryan McCaffrey, they're like, well, he's not trying to be overly critical. He's just giving his own opinion. So let me actually go to you first, Drawn. Do you think Ryan was right in saying what he was, or do you think he was just being harshly critical over the device?
Well, I mean, when you spend $600 on a headset, let alone a VR headset, I mean, you expect great games on it. And I mean, they obviously have games on there. Like, they're probably good games for casuals. But if he was thinking about PlayStation games, from what I've heard, there's not a lot on there. So, I mean, I'd kind of be in the same boat. I'd be like, you fucked me over. $600.
Well, you say fuck me over. How did they fuck you over? Because the games that you have on the Oculus are roughly the same games that you have on the VR 2. So how did they quote fuck them over?
Well, because if you're getting it for the PlayStation, if you're getting the PlayStation VR 2, you're most likely looking to get the PlayStation games. You want the exclusives, right? Or you want the games that they make. That's the whole point. That's the reason why. Otherwise, you could just save money and got an Oculus if you didn't care about the PlayStation brand or about their games. If you didn't give a shit, you would just buy the Oculus and save money. So obviously,
there's a massive difference in the fidelity that you're getting between an Oculus and a PSVR 2.
I agree with that. I'm saying that it also depends on.
But games take time. But games take time, and Nintendo was illustrator of this regard, right? Because like remember
Yeah.
back in the day with Nintendo, they had their home console and they had the portable console, and their developers were torn with developing on two different devices with two different specs and everything like that. And being fair, you are still getting some of the PlayStation experience with what was it, Call of the Wild, and you're getting
there's a couple games on there, and you gotta give PlayStation credit for that.
Call of the Wild dog food. I keep
better than nothing. So you gotta give them credit for that. And I'm not saying they're dropping the ball or anything, but they should push more. They either need to buy more devs or hire more devs or buy more studios in order to actually build out your library for PSVR 2, because you can't abandon it. Like, everybody laughs at the Kinect, but you gotta remember, like, there was only a handful of games for it, realistically. Otherwise, it was just like an AI assistant. Otherwise, it was just a paperweight. So that's why they got rid of it, and also it was also an eyesore. But regardless, like
that, and the fact that that time, also that whole situation.
You don't want
Big
that
Brother
happening in the PlayStation VR 2. It's obviously great technology. I'm not saying it's bad technology. I'm saying it's good. And I've never even used it, but I'm just saying from what I've read specs, it's really good. I just think if you're gonna put that much, engineering into it and make it that powerful, I would like to see a lot of games, and I'm not saying like 5 or 6 that are using the AAA quality. I'm talking about about 50 games at least that are like first party or second party, that are like AAA budget, that are really, really, this is why I bought a PlayStation VR 2, right?
Well, no. There's going to be a little bit of pushback on that.
That's going to happen, though. That's super unrealistic, especially VR. First of all, VR is niche. There's not going to be as many people purchasing it. No, that's it's fine if those your reader what would make you desire one, but to expect that many first party big AAA games for the VR headset, I don't think it's realistic. They're gonna use their
but in general, there's console. Not. But Super, since I got you on here, I mean, they really, to be honest with you, if you look at VR as a broad spectrum, and you include PSVR 2, Oculus, whatever Valve is doing, I think HTC still is in the running for a VR has a VR headset out there as well.
Yeah, they got the Vive.
Yeah, they still, I don't know. Didn't they upgrade that to something else like the Vive 2 or some crap like that? I don't know.
If PlayStation's smart, they would partner with someone and then just cut the price in half and make it more affordable, and they would make more money. They would get more fans, and it'd be easier to build.
They would also have to cut out a bunch of the tech. It's the tech that's the reason why it costs what it is. Yeah. So I mean, they could make a cheaper version, but it's going to have a lot less of the tech. Like, this was the first headset on the market that even had foveated rendering. It was doing things that higher end, more expensive headsets weren't doing at the time. It's actually a really good deal for what it costs. But in terms of what Ryan was saying. No, it is, but like you were saying,
the Apple device that just came out for $12,000 or whatever it is.
Those aren't even trying to be the same thing.
Okay, got to pull out a mortgage to get that damn thing.
No, but any piece of hardware, doesn't matter what it is, especially in the gaming case, it's going to never die by the software, and that's true of a headset as well. And I think Ryan McCaffrey is both right and not right. Because I think that he's wanting to see more first-party offerings, like you were saying, and more of these big, giant brand experiences. But at the same time, he knows what VR is. It's not like he's brand new to gaming. He's not some person that just decided to pick up a VR headset. He knows what he's going to get with the VR headset. And to be fair, there's over 150 games you can play right now on PSVR 2, including some that have some of the best visual that you're going to get, whether it's on console or PC. Bottom line is VR is a niche thing. If you're wanting this huge, massive library of these amazing AAA quality games, you're not going to get that on PSVR 2. Guess what? You're not going to get that on PC either. It's just It's
Yeah.
not there yet.
Yeah, no,
Well,
I,
is it-
I
Either
don't.
decide
I
that
don't
you want to
expect to
adopt
get
it
it
back
right
now,
away. Like,
or are you
I'm
going to
just saying,
continue
start
to wait?
hiring people to do it though. Like, I know it takes time, and I'm just saying, like, for Ryan McCaffrey, he should have. If I was him, if I was in his shoes, knowing me, if I know I'm gonna get a lot of freaking games out of it, and they're games I'm gonna enjoy, or at least I'm gonna at least try, I'll buy it. But if I'm only looking for the AAA bangers, or I'm looking for my niche genre that I like, I'm not dropping $600. Honestly, personally, he should have just waited and waited like 2 or 3 years down the road, and then would have gotten one. And he's got all those games there that he wanted to see. That's the reason why, and he would have gotten it at a cheaper price. Now,
That's not
was
guaranteed.
it FOMO? Maybe it was FOMO. He bought it because he said he's dabbled in VR before, so I mean he might have
Well,
just
it's
looked
not
at
FOMO
specs
as
and
much
said,
as it is
"I'll
his
get it."
job as well. Like, he
That's
Yeah,
is
of
a
course.
game.
Yeah.
But
He's
he's
a game
also kind of
reviewer.
bitching about it and saying, well, it's collecting dust. It's like, well, you're the one that bought it. You're the one that's not playing
Yeah.
it. So that's kind
Also,
of 50-50.
dust your fucking
Like,
house, man.
that's a double-edged sword,
True.
because
It is his opinion though.
I know it's
He's
his
allowed
opinion.
to have his opinion too.
Yeah.
And people can get all bent out of
100%.
shape and say, why is he bitching about spending $600 on something? An owner of 2 PSVRs, because of the first, actually 3, because the first 2 broke. Is the cable is the biggest piece of shit ever made. And having that and the experience of that, I can probably guess that one of the biggest problems is the games that you see on the VR marketplace aren't all just for the PSVR 2. I guarantee a huge amount of them were PSVR games that those people that had one already own. And that could be why it slims down the market for what he wants to play now, because he's probably already played them. If he played it on VR1, it may be a lot of carryover. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
think the industry right now for
It's not
VR
huge.
gaming
No,
industry,
it's not anywhere near, but there's a lot of it. There are a lot of games now. A lot of people. I have a friend who also has a YouTube channel and does VR, and he does the Oculus. There isn't a lot of crossover as much as you would think between the Oculus and the PSVR 2. You would think they would
really? I thought
make
all
this-
the
no,
Yeah.
no.
really.
That's a big problem. That's another big problem people that have with PSVR. When I had a PSVR, I was asking, well, why aren't these PC games coming to the PSVR? It's like, oh no, well, Sony can't get them or whatever. They can't get the developers to make them. Well, they already made
one of
them.
the biggest games on PC side is Boneworks, and Boneworks on PS4 too.
Yeah, PSVR. It's not even on VR 2. Exactly. That's a huge game. That's a massive game. People have made.
And I know Valve and PlayStation aren't buddy, but fucking get Half-Life Alyx on that bitch. What are you doing, bro?
That's the only AAA game that I know of. I mean, I wouldn't even go as far as
that's the only one that most casuals knows. Like, oh, they need to
Half-Life
Alyx.
Wait a fucking minute, Super. Come on now. Like, are you calling me a goddamn casual? What the fuck are you trying to?
There's quite a few AAA games that have been brought onto the consoles.
There are, and then there are smaller AA games, but the visuals
Did you wake up this morning and chose violence? How the fuck do you equate me to a casual, dude? Come on now.
Oh, no, I wasn't calling it casual. I'm saying that most casuals, when they talk about a VR thing, like, oh, it needs that's what everyone says. Every gaming journal is, oh, there's like a Half-Life Alyx. Like, okay, great. And then if it did have that, then what else?
But then name another fucking AAA game on that on any VR platform.
Every console and every
right. That's my point.
It needs a AAA. It needs a system seller, is what it needs. Yeah. And in truth, that falls squarely on Sony's shoulders. If they wanted something
100%.
to sell that, they should have made several games actually, and should have had these awesome games ready to go. And I've not really seen them do much at all, other than make a demo disc that sold me on the first PSVR. I mean, the demo disc that they made was incredible. I was like, oh my God, I got to own this. And then after that, there was a lot of games I enjoyed, I had fun with, but my kids played it more than I did. And the original demo disc was like, oh, that's things to come. Never came. I'm like, fuck, man, why can't you make games like this? Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Call of the Mountain visually is amazing, and it's a fun game, but it is like 80% climbing. If there is fun to be had, it's in all the stuff that's not the goddamn climbing, and it's mostly fucking climbing. It's ridiculous because the combat is actually super fun, and interact with the environment and building stuff is super fun. I just, they could have done something completely different. I don't know why they chose to go that route, and then they should have had more games at launch. Like you know that this is the date this thing is going to launch. You can't come out with games 2-3 years later. It's like, you were making the fucking thing. When the thing's coming out, have some games for it.
You shit it on the market for $600 and expect it to sell. That's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. With very few games, that's not going to be a good thing.
Well,
anyway,
know what I'm really looking for from a VR game? I'm not the type of person to sit there and
porn.
Yeah, well, yeah, that of course that goes with the minute they bring Pornhub to the PSVR 2, I'm down. They fucking won. I'm sorry to say. You know what? When I can see
3D visual novels.
I mean, Wize the Pornhub's already on the PlayStation, so
Wize.
Halfway there.
Wize. You want to have a podcast anymore, bro? You'd be like stuck in your chair going.
Exactly. Yeah.
When I can stuck in your chair.
When I can get Diamond
one beer
Debbie
in one hand and your dick in the other hand.
Hey, when I can get Diamond Debbie on VR, fuck, I don't need a podcast. I don't need kids. I don't even need
his wife.
Shit, exactly.
Didn't need her in Europe.
That would be my killer app. But but all jokes aside, what I really want from VR is just, dude, do not give me a different fucking game where I'm flailing my hands around. Give me the same goddamn game that you have on the PlayStation 5, but in a fucking 100-inch TV a virtual 100-inch TV screen that I can't get at my house.
You can do
that's
that already.
I can do it I can do it with the original PSVR.
Yeah, you do it the original one too. I think it's 100 and 120 inch or something like that.
Yeah, it fills your full field of vision. Yeah.
You're fucking kidding me.
To the point where I could actually turn my head to look around at the screen.
No.
It was that big. Yeah. It's like being
You're
in a
fucking
movie
kidding
theater.
me. Why did they say that shit from the beginning? Why in the fuck? Seriously.
You know what I don't understand what they don't do?
What?
Is how we have movies and they make movies in 3D? Like, why can't we just get if they're not going to make a VR game, why can't we get our regular games but in 3 dimensions in like that virtual display? Like, give me Crash Bandicoot, but make it actually 3-dimensional so I can see the depth in it. Like, I don't understand why they can't just take regular games and make them 3-dimensional.
Here, you want something that's kind of interesting that it just came to mind. One of my buddies, his Friendly Pest, that's my guy. He has a YouTube channel, and he had a game that he showed on one of the YouTube channels. He showed me, and it was an emulator, essentially. So you could get emulated games, and then all the consoles that he legally got everything for, by the way, were emulated on different screens in a room in VR, and you could walk up to every single console and start playing every single game. And whatever games you had, you would load the games, and you would turn them on and plug the cartridges in just like you would do in real life. And I'm like, fuck, that's amazing. Now, if PlayStation was smart and they had a VR room where you could literally go to different televisions, different monitors of the era, and then like pull up a PS1, start popping games that you've purchased in their store and load them up and play them in VR. Now that's something that would be like interesting to do.
Kind of like the next evolution of Xbox Arcade or something that they did back.
Yeah, but it's a VR.
Also, the why we don't have a new PlayStation Home either is criminal at this point, because PlayStation Home was the shit.
Well, PlayStation Home PlayStation Home does lend itself very well to VR, does it not? That would be. It would be like fucking Zuckerberg wants the metaverse. So PlayStation already had that with PlayStation Home. It just wasn't two-dimensional. Well, technically 3-dimensional display. It'd be dope to have that in VR. And they could be selling people avatars and selling people all kinds of shit to make more money. There's a lot of decisions when it comes to VR that with them specifically, they don't understand, and things they could have done, and it's like almost obvious choices, and you're like, why aren't you guys doing this shit? It's like with the plates. Like, it took them how long to come out with fucking plates for their console, and there was like 3 fucking regular colors, and now there's Spider-Man one. It's like, why were you guys not doing this shit at the jump? I don't understand these decisions these people make. Well, maybe it's a little bit of fear involved, right? Like because people, maybe
Pussies.
these developers think that people who play VR want that, climbing / Half-Life Alyx / Beat Sabers experience, and what maybe with hopefully with the release of the Apple
Not
Vision
really.
Pro. Well, yeah, I mean, I don't. I mean, but maybe that's what people who are developing games for VR are thinking. But maybe now that when Apple's Vision Pro comes out, and Vision Pro, I mean, I don't know if anyone watched the reel, but
Yeah, that shit's insane. What it does.
yeah, but it is strictly for casual. It's like, no, this is not something that you're going to interact with in another way. It's the same stuff, the same crap that you're interacting with, but with multiple screens or a bigger fucking screen or a 3D environment. Maybe, people will get the clue of that, and that's what people are looking for in VR. They're not looking for another exercise equipment, but they're looking for something that they can not get in real life, because getting a 100-inch TV may not be practical or something like that.
Well, yeah, the Apple Vision Pro is a very niche, is worse, even bigger niche than the PSVR 2 in all truth. And the market that's really aimed for in truth is going to be the industrial medical market, where they use it for procedures and doing things with AR or with 3D modeling. I mean, it's specifically designed for that. And it's literally priced at the exact same price as Microsoft's version of it that's been out for years.
The HoloLens.
Yep, exactly. And it's marketed, in my opinion, for that. They're like, oh, it's marketed for people that got a lot of money and want to fuck around with it. Honestly, nobody's going to be wearing that thing very much, and it's not.
Well, they can. It only has a 2-hour battery life.
Yeah, you can plug it in, but
yeah, but still, you got to be tethered to that thing, sitting on what you're going to be sitting on the couch, I guess. But it's AR is my point. I mean, that's a whole other ball of wax.
Yeah. Right. Anybody else have anything to say about this topic before we move on?
I was just gonna say the other thing that I don't know, that maybe a lot of these devs are considering is the fact that some people, they just can't tolerate VR. There's a lot of people that, depending on what the experience is, even kind of vanilla experiences make them sick. So maybe that's why they shy away from the crazier, more immersive shit, because they know that most people aren't going to be able to tolerate it. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there.
It depends on the resolution of the displays as well. If they're really high resolution and the motion is better and quicker. I mean the hertz, the frequency that it runs at has to be very high, because if it's too low and the resolution's too low, yes, that can really induce like vertigo and cause you
motion sickness.
Get serious motion sickness. I got that in the original PS4 when I was playing. I think I mentioned this before, but when I was playing, it was like a Mech Warrior type game, and it was an arena game where you're jumping from like level to level and you're running around each other trying to shoot each other. And
I know what you were talking about. Yeah,
I played that for 30 minutes and I never played it again. I was like, that's it, done. I can't play it. It's just
on the first one. RE7 did that for me. I was trying to play through RE7 in VR, and I made it maybe 45, 50 minutes in. I was like, yeah, nope, not feeling
it. Did it do the head bob automatically? Because I know that even in Resident Evil 8, the console version, I had to go into the settings and turn off the automatic. That's the head bob. It makes the person walking around kind of do this the whole time. Every time you take a step, it moves back and forth. Fucking made me about throw up. I'm like, holy shit. What the hell is this? I turned it off, and that was it.
It also matters how many FPS the whole system's doing at the time. So if it like drops below a certain number, usually it's like 90, then that's when you start having your motion sickness problems.
Well, the PSVR was the original PSVR was running way below that, but I'm pretty sure it was running below.
Speaking of RE8 though, fucking how awesome is it firing shotguns in RE8 on the PS4 too? The fucking the headset vibrates.
The whole thing does crazy stuff.
Awesome, dude. I was like, whoa.
Well, speak for yourselves. If I'm gonna vomit, if I'm gonna get nauseous, I'm gonna get nauseous the old-fashioned way, because I drank a little bit too much. That's
what you're doing right now. Keep doing it.
Exactly. That's all the VR, fucking VR I need. Very relaxed. That's what VR for me is.
Very relaxed.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if I vomit in the process, hey, I'm even now my stomach is empty too, so I can eat more. All right. Anyhow, let's move on to the next topic. Project Chronos. So this thing sort of popped up out of nowhere. And let me pull it up 1 second. I can't fucking pull it up now. Oh well. Project Chronos is apparently the PlayStation's push into streaming, and they're trying to get 4K streaming, and they're trying to also appeal to the rapidly fast or super fast SSD. So they're trying to leverage their streaming platform so that it takes advantage of their really high SSD drives. So my question here is, with them getting or putting their foot into the streaming wars, if you will, how do you think it's going to sort of fare for them coming in a little bit later than Microsoft? And do you think that the lead that Microsoft has for this is just a little bit too substantial that PlayStation may have a hard time catching up? So, Super, since I have you already on, what do you think about this whole situation?
Honestly, to tell you the truth, I don't think I or anybody else really know enough about this to speak too much on it. Obviously, if we're going to talk about, well, who's better positioned, it's clearly Xbox at this point. I don't know what PlayStation is doing or what their push into the space is going to be or how they're going to do it. So I really don't have much more than that as far as an opinion goes.
Do you think that they've maybe coming a little bit too late on this? Or do you think that it's okay because it's PlayStation, they'll be able to figure out a way of sort of becoming parity with other streamers out there?
Again, I don't know, and it depends on how they're trying to push the streaming, what they're doing with it. It really all depends. If it's gonna be where they're trying to push and do the same thing as Xbox, I think they're gonna be fine globally. PlayStation is the brand that more people are choosing. It just that is what it is. Whether someone likes Xbox or likes PlayStation, globally, it's the brand that most people are buying. So I don't think that it coming in later is going to necessarily hurt it. Sure, it's probably going to hinder its adoption rate, maybe, but again, without knowing any other information about what they're doing or how they plan on implementing, what specs of the machines are going to be and stuff like that, I really don't have much more to say.
Okay. Drawn, let me go to you. What do you think? Since you're on the opposite side of the coin from Supa, so what do you think in this regard about the PlayStation's official entry into streaming?
There's not really much to say. I mean, we don't know. Like, I'm gonna have to agree with Supernova on it. Like, there's not much to go on. They just announced it. There's not enough information out there. I mean, hopefully it's good. It'll just depend.
Do you think they're the biggest problem that streaming devices have right now is the noticeable lag that occurs between, when you're playing it and, the servers and everything. Of course, it depends on your internet connection and all that other jazz as well.
Yeah, it's all bandwidth limited.
So do you think that this, they're trying to leverage their SSD is going to help in that matter, or do you not know? So let me actually. Drawn has gone mute, but let me go to you, Darth. Do you think that there's a possibility of them using their SSD to gain the upper hand, if you will?
Well, like I said, with the bandwidth limitation, as far as if they have a high enough speed, if you got like a 500 or 1,000 megabit connection, that probably will be a factor and may help. But I mean, it's going to be. It all depends. I mean, there's a lot of factors involved. There's a lot of things I'm reading about the data centers that they have. I mean, considering Microsoft, how big they are, and as far as cloud, I think they've got the lead there regarding the number of places, the number of centers they might have. I'm not 100% sure. I'm because they've been doing it for so much longer, I would think that they do, but who knows? But as far as like its performance, it might help a little bit, but I mean, even so, if you compare the SSD and the Series X and the SSD and the PlayStation 5, they're negligible in their difference in speed as far as in real world speed. And as far as something that has to rely on connecting to the network before it can even do something with it, possibly, but I think you're going to have a lot of losses between the two before you can see anything coming out of the PS5 of what you want to see as far as your stream. So I don't know. It all depends how they implement it, and your connection. If the connection, I mean, for the vast majority of people, they're not going to have the connection that they need to do it right. But 4K streaming, as far as in my opinion, I'd be shocked if most people could even do it just because of their internet connection limitations.
Okay. Let me go to you next, Triple. I've not heard from you. What do you think about PlayStation's official push into streaming? Do you think that it's going to make a dent, or do you think it's too little, too late for them?
Truth be told, I'll have to look further into what makes this a more of the quote unquote official approach because they've been doing it for so long. And the biggest difference between Microsoft and PlayStation, at least from my perspective, is how they're hesitant on putting their first party IP onto their streaming service day and date. And to my knowledge, you can't stream aside from remote play. You can't stream natively to your phone just by using the app by itself. So if they're pushing more towards allowing them to have their first party on their day and date and allowing you to use your phone without requiring a console, I can see that being beneficial for them in terms of whether or not it'll actually swing things in their direction compared to what the numbers Xbox is doing right now with xCloud. Like only time would tell, but yeah, it's my biggest gripe with PlayStation so far when it comes to their streaming process is just how they're not all in the sense of like, hey, if you want to stream your console games to your phone, you gotta have the console first versus, hey, if you got a phone or a computer or whatever, you can just stream it day and date. But we'll definitely have to see how they're approaching it once the stuff actually roll out. And also if there's a noticeable difference in terms of performance between the two platforms. But I think it really just come down to the content and when those contents are available to be streamed, that's the main thing that gets people interested into getting onto the console or onto the streaming platform as well as quality, but that varies based off of your own personal network setup.
Well, you bring up a good point, and I actually want to go to Super on this one. So PlayStation has been adamant about not releasing their first-party IP, which is what people are looking for. You know, when they play PlayStation, they want their Spider-Mans and God of Wars and stuff. Do you think that now that they're actually sort of officially really entering the streaming space, that eventually you will see a day and date for PlayStation, or do you think they're going to be really? But then, do you not think that's going to hamper their growth for at least streaming?
I don't know. I mean, if they can put their back catalog of all their games on streaming, and then if you know that when I get a game day one, but it's eventually going to be streamable in a year or so, I don't see day and date being something they're doing. Realistically, Xbox is the only company that is doing day and date with their content. It's not being done anywhere else. Other companies, even outside of gaming, have tried it, like HBO and Warner Brothers and Disney, and quickly found out that they're losing a lot of money going day and date. So they're like, "Yep, we're not doing that shit anymore." And the only reason they even started was because of COVID and all the lockdowns and all the theaters were closed. So they were like, "All right, we'll put shit day and date in our sub services," and they lost their ass on that. So they're not doing it. So I don't see a day where PlayStation is doing that unless somehow their streaming service is tied to like PS Plus and they have enough subscribers to counteract what the cost would normally make from selling the games are. I don't think they're going to lose money to go day and date.
Well, if they're going to do that with their subscribers, they're going to have to increase the price of whatever they want to call it, PlayStation Plus or whatever, right?
I mean, you have to think about Netflix. In order for Netflix to break even, they had to do 220 million subscribers. Now, I don't know what Netflix had, pays for its cost to stay afloat or stay working, but they needed 220 million to break even with what they were paying to get content in the service and then what they were paying to produce their own content. So I don't know what PlayStation would have to have as a subscriber count in order for it to be profitable enough to be like, okay, this is equivalent to us selling a game on the PS5 and selling 20 million copies at $70, right? I don't know what that subscriber count needs to be, but I don't think that just saying we're going to do stuff day and date on the service is going to grow it to a number where it financially will either even out or make more money. That's why I don't see that happening. But who knows? Maybe something will happen where the subscriber counts are going to go crazy. But we're not seeing that happen on the Xbox side. Phil said that on console, the subscriber count is kind of leveling off. They're still getting growth on PC, but still not not like exponentially massively large. It's just not growing that fast. So I don't know. It really depends on what happens in the future. But if I had to guess, I would say no.
Well, what if they adopt a more a model more like Stadia, where you actually have to buy their AAA exclusive on date to be able to stream it? What do you think about that?
If it's something where you have to pay full price for like a license to be able to stream the game, well, then yeah, obviously, as long as they're selling the game, I think that's all that matters. It doesn't matter whether they're selling it for you to use on your console or selling it for you to be able to stream it with like a streaming license. I just don't see them having it where you pay monthly for PS Plus or whatever they're going to call their, PS X Cloud equivalent, and then you get the game without having to buy it day and date.
Okay, cool.
I just wanted to address Triple on something real quick. I was reading it just to address, and then I'll let you finish. You were just going to start, so sorry about that.
Go ahead.
I was just reading the details. It was specifically, this whole thing is specifically for console streaming only. It has nothing to do with smartphones at all. Nothing. The entire thing is only PS5, and that's why the SSD was specifically mentioned, because that's what they were focusing on. This has nothing to do with anything but the console. That's it.
Yeah, that's the problem because how can I put it? If you have the console, I know everybody's situation is different, but if you have the console, wouldn't you mostly be leaning towards getting the actual copy of the game, whether it be physical or digital? Whereas the benefit of having xCloud or with xCloud, I can stream some games on my PC if I don't have the space or something like that. Yeah, it's cool that older consoles with the Xbox One can support streaming. I guess if PlayStation wanted to try that for old people with PS4s. But it's just the benefits of like, hey, if you got a laptop or mobile phone, you can stream any game on the Xbox xCloud catalog onto those multiple devices. So limiting it to the console just, again, Sony has like one foot in and one foot out. It's not making any sense. And even if you don't want to go the route of putting your day and date games on the service day one, you can at least have it to where your catalog is just available regardless of platform. And so whatever's currently on the PlayStation Cloud service right now, you can play it anywhere. You don't even have to put the next big Spider-Man game there day one. It's just like I can access whatever. Go ahead.
With a variation of a variation of the Nintendo model for their older games. I'm just thinking here about what they could do is they could put all their older games and you can stream any of them. So you don't even have to download them. You could stream any of them at any time from all the PlayStation consoles of the past. And then you don't even have to worry about putting those on. And those games being less demanding might be easier to do in that regard. But yes, and we don't even know what their future plan is. I'm sure their future plan has to include something with some kind of smartphone integration. But we're talking Sony, so who knows? Who knows if that is in their wheelhouse or something that they want to do eventually? I'm not sure. I would think they would.
Maybe they'll just beat up their remote play.
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing I'm thinking. They're bringing out that Q Lite, right? And maybe they're trying to develop this
so you don't have
that's what I'm sorry. That's what I'm talking about. Like you have a dedicated hardware handheld, but you have to have the console to use it. Whereas if it was cloud streaming, similar to xCloud, anybody was like, hey, again, maybe streaming isn't catching on. But if I just said, screw, I'm about to go buy a Q Lite, I don't like it. I don't have a PS5 yet, but I want to play the PlayStation 5 catalog, whatever's on or PlayStation Now. I hate that they changed the name. PS Plus streaming. I can play it on the Q Lite, but no, I have to buy the Q Lite, but I got to go buy the console. Then I have to stream it.
You can't leave the house, and you can't leave the house because they've taken the Wii U model for whatever reason. I have no idea why they did that. What? No,
are you sure? Because with
it's Wi-Fi only, right? Is it Wi-Fi only?
Probably because you can remote play with the Series X, and you don't have to be on your home network. Of course, with your mobile, you can use 4G or 5G, whatever, or you can play on Wi-Fi. So if it's even limited to your home Wi-Fi,
that's true, Triple.
Maybe there'd be some way in which, depending on like, as long as you have internet where you are and your console at home has access to the internet, you can play.
Yeah,
you can access the PlayStation Store from anywhere on your phone and tell it to start downloading the game on your PlayStation. So it has some way to talk to each other. So maybe they'll do it like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
know.
I think the way they're doing it and rolling it out's fucking asinine. It makes no goddamn sense. And I wish that they were more vocal in explaining how is this shit gonna work, because nobody fucking has any goddamn clue.
Just think of how many people you could say, "Hey, Jimmy or John, you got a PC, laptop, phone, get PlayStation. You can stream." Like a buddy of mine, he fried his computer. But I was like, "Yeah, you can stream games to your phone," but he was like, "Oh, PlayStation doesn't do that, and you gotta get Game Pass." But I'm just like, the possibilities are there for people's situations. Just why limit to the console? I don't get it. But
Well, PlayStation has historically done that. I mean, you look at the VR2, you can't technically use it with your PC yet.
I mean,
So
even then, like that's very fair, because if they're talking about selling units, I'm like, make it compatible with PC officially. Not people have to, do their own things behind the scenes to get it working. You could sell more units possibly, but they're focused. And I understand, since that's the main thing they're trying to sell. But it's just, you're in one way sabotaging your own stuff instead of doing what you can to get it everywhere. It's just with their Dreams game, that's Media Molecules that have been working on for the longest now, and they could have had that on a PC and really had it flourish, but they kept it on the console. And it's decisions that I get in one perspective, but another, I'm just like, you kind of limiting your potential here. But yeah.
Jim, do you have anything to add to this?
Not really. I mean, cool. PlayStation's got some streaming handheld thing. I've got my Steam Deck. That thing does more than what that PlayStation Q, or whatever the hell they're calling it, is.
Yeah, but you won't be able to play Spider-Man 2 day and date.
Nobody can unless you have the console.
Yeah, unless you have the console.
No one's gonna play a day and date unless you get the console. And hey, I'll just wait for the emulator. I'll go play it then. And I've got Spider-Man the original on the Steam Deck. So
We got Spooder.
yeah.
I'm really looking forward to seeing how much the Q Lite costs, because that's $300 and you got the 500.
That shit comes out of 300.
I think that thing is dead on fucking arrival. I think they better fucking ship it in a box that's shaped like a goddamn coffin.
I mean, even 200 is a lot for requiring a console, because you got this thing like the Switch Lite even. And it's like, yeah, $200, you gotta have the 500 console with you.
Yeah, even at 200, I just don't think that people care about it. I don't know personally anyone that's like, yeah, I'm down for it, except for like maybe one person that was like, well, when my kids want to use the TV, I can play my game still. And I'm like, all right, cool, go you. Other than that one guy, I don't know anybody that's like, fuck yeah, Q Lite, let's go.
Well, the other thing is, I don't even know. I can't find anywhere where it says it has any dedicated storage. So if you were to, I mean, I would think you'd have some storage and download, but it is literally just.
You do have dedicated storage. It's called your console.
Yeah, exactly.
all your file saves and everything are going to come right with the console.
If you're spending that much money to be able to download the game to the handheld so you could play it offline, that's what I'm talking about. It can never go offline. So that's a
yeah, no.
You don't have internet connection? Well, fuck you. That's what that thing is.
Yeah. I would be surprised if it doesn't. I know it costs more money, but if you're making a dedicated no local play, like, does it support 5G network or anything? Because the Vita, you could get an edition that had like phone network on it.
It literally says
Wi-Fi.
It's Wi-Fi.
There's no way that thing costs less than $200. You got to think a fucking DualSense is $70 plus tax. Just a DualSense. That's a DualSense Snap app. It's having a fucking tablet in the middle. Yeah, it's gonna be 300. If it's any less than 300, I will be surprised. But either way, unless the thing is $150, I don't see it being something that everyone's gonna kind of adopt and buy. I also don't know a whole lot of people that care to stream the games to something.
I already feel it's going to be a DOA situation if it's over $100.
I do too.
Yeah.
I do too.
I'm sure Super is going to agree with me on that one.
How much is a DualSense controller?
$70.
About $80, 80,
50
right?
to 100, depending on where you go.
And what's the other
I was going to say, because it's got that.
And then I think I looked up at the time displays that were the same size and quality, because it's supposedly an LCD display, and I think they said like 8-inch or something. I'd looked up at the time when the display came out, and like the cheapest one you can get is going to be like $120 for a display that size, that's of that type. And it's okay. Well, then they slap it between the controller and then plus Wi-Fi and all this other shit. There's no way it's less than 300. I just don't see it.
Well, they show the screen here running on an Android OS too, which is funny. I'm not kidding. It is. Yeah.
Well, I guess that's one good thing they got going for it. It's an Android device, so I could probably go root the thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I would have been happier if they give us a Vita 2 or a new dedicated hand. I know they're not trying to do that because Nintendo kind of owns that space now. Like Nintendo's like just it's theirs. Trying to get a handheld in, it's not going to happen. I know the Steam Deck exists, but that's still not really. I wouldn't even say that's competing with Switch. That's its own fucking thing. But yeah, I think they would have been better off either doing something like a Vita 2 or just not doing this at all. I get it.
Well, this is a little bit off topic, but like sometimes when I look at what PlayStation is doing as the market leader, it seems that like they seem sort of confused about their future direction. It's like, oh, okay, we want to play on handheld. Oh yeah, we got a device for you. Oh, we want to play VR. We got a device for you. Oh, we want to stream. Oh, we got a device for you. Oh, we want to play online games. Oh, we got a device for you. Oh, we want this game. It's like for some reason, like it seemed that in the PS4 era, they had a little bit better direction with what they're doing. And here they're trying to, sort of spread the net wide and sort of capture everybody. So I don't know if that's really going to sort of pan out for them.
Yeah,
but
I get their approach. It's just how they're going about it is the issue. So I don't know.
Yeah, it just seems that way. But anyhow, anyone have anything else to say about this topic before we move on?
No.
All right.
DOA.
No, I'm good.
All right.
Vaporware.
Dead.
It's in the game. All right.
We're sorry. This topic is currently dead.
All right. So let's move on to a topic that is not so dead. Baldur's Gate 3, the reviews came out 97 on Metacritic. It is officially rated higher than Zelda, which was like I think number 2 at one time or something
it's
like that.
It's like a 96. Zelda's at 96.
Right. I think it's going to be one of the highest rated games on Metacritic historically. And it's interesting, the release date. Yeah, for those of you who don't know, the release date is the same day as another pretty big IP coming out from the other systems stable, Starcraft. Well, I mean Starfield, not Starcraft. Starfield.
Oh man,
we wish.
Sorry, I wish it was Starcraft. Yeah, but Starfield. But and this is not. This is official release date. Not if you buy the collector's edition and get it like 5 days earlier or some crap like that. But yeah, so this is become, because of its timed exclusivity, because of the developer issues that they're having, this is sort of PlayStation's, I want to say, answer, if you will, and I say that
Is it though?
Yeah, it is what it is, and it's just like this is what PlayStation is putting head to head against Starfield, which is pretty much coming out as a juggernaut.
It's the exclusive because they can't get it working on Xbox. Not because PlayStation paid for it. It's a happy accident.
Got a point there, sir.
All right, Drawn, let me go to you since you are in One Console's fan base. What do you think Baldur's Gate 3 is going to do on PlayStation going up against head-to-head with Starfield? This is going to be interesting. Go ahead.
Yeah, that is going to be interesting.
So please go ahead.
Oh, man. I don't know. I mean... I don't know. That's gonna be a tough one.
Well, they got good review scores, 97. And to be honest with you,
it's got good review scores for now, but I mean,
what do you mean for now? Like, what do you
it's
mean?
only it's at like 30.
It's will come out on Xbox later on, right?
Yeah, whenever they get it working.
I mean, right now it's currently exclusive to the PC, so
early access on PC.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find it funny how all like the PlayStation fanboys on Twitter are running around saying, "Oh, PS5 exclusive." It's like, no,
No,
if you
it's
want to use
not.
the term exclusive,
Dude,
you need to say
that's
it's a
some of the
PC exclusive at
dumbest,
this point.
cringiest shit, dude. I keep seeing dudes doing that, and I'm like,
Is it going to
fucking
do well against
stop, bro.
Starfield?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I'm sorry, but that's not a
I don't know. That's
PS5
a hard
exclusive.
toss-up. That's a hard toss-up because Starfield looks really ambitious, and I gotta give Bethesda credit. I mean, it actually looks like the best game they've actually made because usually
I'm just
their
hoping
games,
it's
usually
not.
their games are not that appealing, you know.
Well, that and
So,
they also have the nickname of Bugthesda for a reason.
you know
Well,
what?
this is the Creation
We'll
Engine
have to
2
wait
now.
and
This
see.
is the Creation Engine 2, so you can get double the bugs. So, you know.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
I got the least amount of bugs they've ever had in a game or something, Todd Howard. So hopefully that's
Oh
the
shit!
case.
They had a year to iron all that crap out. You would think,
Yeah.
right?
I hope they're not blowing smoke. I hope it turns out really good. I'm going to be
10
playing
times.
it day one.
You know, you're not probably the only one. I think that Satya Nadella, Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, what's that girl's name? That lady's name?
Miss Booty.
No, not Miss Booty. What is that other? What is that other lady's name? I forgot her name. Anyhow, they're
Sarah
all
Bond?
probably. Yeah, Sarah Bond. They're all probably saying, you know, they're probably sitting on pins and needles, shitting taxes. Like, this thing better come out. They put the goddamn picture on the box. Yeah, so
after Redfall, fucking Starfield needs to slap. But dude, let's be realistic. Baldur's Gate and Starfield is the biggest game releasing on PC this year. I think. I don't think anything's going to come close to it. Baldur's Gate may have a good review score, it may be an amazing game, but I don't think in competition-wise, it is no competition. Starfield's going to be the one with the crown this year.
Well, if I want to keep the same energy,
I mean, one of them lets somebody bang an orc in the
Skyrim. Skyrim sold 12 million in like the first day. So
yeah, I mean, it's going to do what it's going to do. I don't think Baldur's Gate is going to
sell a lot. It's going to sell a lot, regardless if it's in Game Pass or not. It's a Todd Howard game. It's just people look past the bugs regardless, and they just buy the shit out of it. So it doesn't matter.
Well,
it's gonna sell.
And all those PlayStation fanboys running around talking about Baldur's Gate. Fucking 90% of those fucking people are not buying Baldur's Gate 3. They're just fucking propping it up.
They're just buying it and then they're playing
console war bullshit. They're not buying it.
It's not a third person over shoulder sad dad simulator.
Are you gonna buy Baldur's Gate Supernova or no? Are you gonna buy Baldur's Gate 3 or no?
Fuck no. That game doesn't interest me, but I will be there day one for Starfield because I love Elder Scrolls and Fallout.
It looks really. It reminds me when I look at that, it gives me like Star Trek mixed with Star Wars like feels, but with like the role playing aspect from like Elder Scrolls.
Well, you know, it's funny. It's kind of funny that you mentioned all these fanboys touting the virtues of Baldur's Gate 3 because I think you're right too because I don't think they've played it because Baldur's Gate 3 is even more than Baldur's Gates 1 and 2 a very traditional D&D experience. In fact, it has like certain things you roll a virtual 20-sided die to get
the fuck out of a squirrel. Did you see that? You see that clip where a dude was fighting the damn squirrel and you had to roll to fight the squirrel? he punched the squirrel against the tree, and then Eric's like, "Congratulations, you defeated the squirrel." I'm just like, I will say, like, I'm interested in boulders. I don't know when I get it because a group of friends of mine we're playing Divinity Original Sin 2, but I was feeling like it's the same guys that are doing Baldur's Gate 3, so I would love to play with you guys. But man, that game looks hilarious.
It looks good. It looks good graphically. It looks good. The gameplay looks good from what I've seen. It's not my type of game. I don't like really.
But it's not a lot of people's type of game because this is a traditional, hardcore, bare bones freaking RPG. And I'm afraid that a lot of these PlayStation fanboys who are looking at this isometric view and they're thinking Diablo, if they ever get this game,
I thought when I saw it. And then someone told me that it was turn-based. I'm like, oh, fuck
shit.
that. Never
Yeah,
mind.
that might freak him out a little bit. That's all the thing. I mean, no. All full disclosure, I'm getting this game because I'm a huge Baldur's Gate fan. I'm a huge D&D fan, but I know going in what I'm getting. And that's what I want is what I'm getting.
You gotta remember, PlayStation's return policy is shit. So
Well, so
they
Xbox,
screwed
everyone's
they
Get it
did
on
buy
PC.
it.
Just get it on PC.
Yeah,
Well,
you
yeah,
you can't even download the game. If you
that's
download
if they
it,
have a PC.
they won't return it.
Oh, you kidding me? If you download it, you can't.
No.
return it?
Yeah,
That,
No,
that
just-
voids
just
the
go-
return policy. I bought like Borderlands 3 twice on Xbox and PlayStation, and it was like, oh, you downloaded the game, so you can't return. I was like, I haven't.
Yeah, you don't have to even fucking launch it.
Like, bro,
Yeah,
that's
no,
not.
there
It
were
just
policies
can't be
definitely
past
dog
30
shit.
days. If you buy an Xbox game and you want to return it and you don't like it, as long as it's not past 30 days, they'll return it and they'll refund you your full money. But if it's after 30 days, you're fucked. You won't be able to
Theirs is definitely better than PlayStation. I think it still kind of varies, kind of similar to Steam-ish.
Well, I mean, look at Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Everybody tried to get their fucking money back on the PlayStation.
Well, the problem with
side.
Cyberpunk is that the problem with the Cyberpunk situation.
PlayStation was
is
like,
the game
"Fuck
was
you guys!"
so
And even with the
fucked
CD Project, they go,
that-
"You cost us a
They're like,
billion
"We
of
want
money."
the money.
CD
You know,
Project
because like
kicked them out
one
the
of the things
goddamn
that
store.
one of the things that always
Yeah.
killed me was people like, yeah, it's Cyberpunk. Like, yes, it was bad, but the reason Sony took it off the store is because their return policy was so shit that they're like,
Oh,
okay,
of
fuck it,
course.
we got a big,
Also,
we got big D
also,
here.
CD Project
off the
Red was
store
like,
and
if you
return
want to get a, if you don't like it, you can return it. And Sony was like, wait, what? No, fucking, no problem. You can do that
The
shit.
PlayStation
Like, just
fans
tell them they can do shit they can't do.
demand
Yeah,
better of
and then people were
PlayStation.
calling in
That's
and
bullshit.
finding out that they can't actually return it. And it's like, well, thanks a lot, CD Projekt Red. Now these people are calling in trying to get a return that you told them they can
Yeah.
get, and they can't.
Just
So
fix it.
they gave them DOS boot, and they were like, "Fuck out of here,
Dude,
fix your
I
shit."
laughed my ass off when I heard that shit. I was like, sucks to be a PlayStation fan right now. I'm
You
like,
know,
damn.
there's gonna be that one schmo who doesn't read anything about Baldur's Gate 3, just sees the review and says, "Hey, you know what?
It's an Elden Ring
it's not,
situation, man.
yeah, it's not fucking Starfield. Let me buy this." Buys this shit and says, "God damn, this shit ain't Diablo. What the fuck, man?"
Yeah.
You know,
I can't wait to post my clip on Twitter.
I dare you to do it.
Megan, what was it? They were talking about bears and shit with druids and stuff, and people were flipping shit over that. I know it's funny.
yeah, man, that was hilarious. But all jokes aside, you know what? I am thoroughly looking forward to this game. I'm not a PC guy, so I don't play on PC. But if I was, I definitely would have been playing that game right now. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Baldur's Gate 3 again because I know going in what I'm looking for, and that is it gives me my D&D fix, all 20-sided die and all, but in a digital package. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah,
that last
hey, I'm gonna
D&D game they came out with was absolute dog shit.
Don't
I forgot what it was called. That last Dungeons and Dragons game. It was terrible though.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the third person one that came out? I think.
Yeah, the third person one. I forgot what it was
can't remember
called,
that
but
thing was trash.
It was doggy dookie.
It's like dark. I don't know.
All right.
Dark
So
One?
Triple, let me ask you this. Since we're coming near the end of the show, do you want to do the 20 question one or do you want to do the weirdest place you've ever played?
I mean, I kind of want to give it to the crowd because I'm just like, weirdest question you ever, or do you guys want to spend 5 minutes guessing a video game I'm thinking of specifically, or answer the question of weirdest place you gamed?
I can take it first if you want. I know it right away.
Okay. I mean, you probably would. So this is a layout. Let's try the 20 questions for the first time. So I got this idea from the guys over at the XPN Network. Shout out to them. But essentially, I think of a game, and you guys have 20 questions to figure it out. If you guess the name of the game before you're out of questions and it's wrong, then it's game over. But if you're sure you know the
What
answer,
is Leisure Suit Larry Magnum Cum Loud?
That'd be Wize Gamer.
I had no input on the choice of this game, so
No, I know. All right. It should be pretty easy.
The sperm mini game is excellent.
The answer is always Wize Gamer.
Yeah.
game.
Well,
Yeah.
if it was a sperm mini game, that would be 1 versus 100 or 100 million or something.
Yeah,
100
something
One
like that.
versus
Yeah.
100.
I've seen those mobile games where the enemies like multiply and conquer. I was like, oh, this is a innuendo of some kind, right? So, but if you guys want to give it a chance, anybody wants to go first, and I'll try to keep notes of the questions that people ask. But yeah, just 20 questions figure out the game. I'm thinking go from there.
Okay, I'll go
Mhm.
first. Is it a current gen game or is it PS4 or Xbox One generation?
It released on the PS4, but it is current gen,
Okay.
and it is. It's not. Well, yeah. That answers the question. So yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't give him too much.
Okay, anybody else? Keep going.
Is it exclusive to a particular platform?
It's not exclusive.
Is it first person or over the shoulder or isometric or?
That's like 20 different questions.
Yeah. You
Oh,
can ask
okay.
one question.
Oh, okay.
What
Is it first
perspective is the
person?
game?
Wize is it first person? Yes.
Okay.
Is it a sci-fi
damn.
genre game?
Is it sci-fi? Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Is it developed by a company that
Um,
Microsoft bought?
It's why would it? It's not an exclusive.
Well, some of them are not, but
Well, I mean, define exclusive because if it's on PC and Xbox, does that count as not exclusive?
It's not exclusive. No, it's not exclusive.
Okay.
But
So meaning it's on Xbox and PC.
Yes, it's everywhere.
and
Yes.
PlayStation, yeah.
Yes, except for Switch. I guess that was really
Well, it was going to be easier if it was.
is it-
just-
Well, is it shit, we Doom did the Eternal?
current gen.
All right,
It can't be
all
that way, son.
Reel it in, Super. You got a question? Super.
Oh, is it a shooter?
Yes, it is a shooter.
How many questions is that?
5.
And no,
I
that's not a
believe.
question. Fuck.
Oh, that's my question. So, yeah, that is a question. So I have it in the private chat. I'm trying to keep tabs of all the questions, so we're at 5
Okay.
right now.
legitimately he should have counted that one. That's my opinion.
I'm not
Screwed
gonna-
one
I'm
up,
gonna
buddy.
give it
Hey, I got an idea of maybe what game it could be.
Uh-oh.
Could be that
Yes.
piece shit Crossfire X.
I literally just said it's not exclusive. Well,
Well,
probably,
hey, it's
Crossfire X
first
was-
person, and it's on both.
I don't think it's sci-fi though. As I said, are you sure? Because if you guess the name of a game and it's wrong, then that ends the game.
Yeah.
Oh,
if
no,
you
no,
throw
no,
it
no.
down-
Have any-
Y'all got
does it
15
have
other
online-
questions. So
Does it have online multiplayer?
yes,
Wow. How many current gen games on PlayStation are first person that are multiplied? Not.
just go over the questions, and if you guys can see the questions in the private chat, you can kind of narrow it down. But yeah, I got 13 more questions.
Well, let's think, guys. What? There's only, I would say, Battlefield or
Don't
Timefall,
we
right?
don't guess on the game right away, but yeah, you.
No,
you gotta
I'm not
think in the
guessing.
final, right?
I'm
He's
trying
just
to
talking
narrow it
amongst.
down.
You're just
Does it
talking.
have
Is it-
does it have a yearly release schedule?
Yes.
Oh, that's
Is it a
interesting.
is it a military shooter?
No.
Oh,
Where you said no?
No. So
Okay.
I will give
Oh.
you guys a freebie. It doesn't. It releases content yearly. It's let's go with that.
When you say it releases content yearly, does it mean is it releasing a new game or is it releasing DLC
Is that a question?
yearly? Does it release a new game yearly or does it release DLC? Does it release a new game yearly?
No.
No.
Is it Apex Legends?
Darth, you want to give this a try before?
Yeah.
remember, it's not military.
Yeah,
So
Darth, you
Apex,
want to give this
Apex
a try?
Legends isn't military.
He's got a point there. All right, are you guys? Is that the
Okay.
final?
No. Is it Is it made by Blizzard?
No.
Okay.
No, I was thinking that too. I don't think it's made by Blizzard.
Yeah,
I
if this
You were thinking
There's
Overwatch.
2 games. It's either
Yeah.
Apex. It's got to be either Apex or it's got to be Destiny. It's one of
Is
those.
it? Yeah. Well, no, it's triple. It's probably Destiny 2. Okay. Okay. Is it free to play?
yes, and remember, y'all can get as specific as you can with the questions as long as you're not asking for the title of the game. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's free to play multiplayer. Okay.
We got 9 more questions, guys.
It's over the shoulder.
no, it's first person.
I mean,
You've
it's first
already
person.
asked-
First
yeah,
person,
it's
yeah.
first person.
It's a sci-fi shooter, first
Yeah.
person,
Mhm,
not exclusive.
Yep.
And it releases
was
some
it sold?
content yearly.
Yep.
I was going to say, was it? You said free to play, but was it sold originally?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
I
Say it
said,
again.
was it originally sold, like in the stores, or sold as instead of free to play? It's free to play now, but was it originally sold? He said yes.
Is it made by Bungie?
Happy Destiny.
Yes.
It's made by Bungie. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
still.
Destiny.
There you go.
Destiny.
Destiny 2.
Is
I
it
mean, yeah,
Destiny 2?
I'll go with Destiny.
Either way,
Yeah,
they're the same
yeah,
thing.
No,
I
it's
mean-
not. If you said Destiny 1, it'd be the wrong answer.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
to be
Destiny.
fair,
Destiny
you did
1 is
ask.
not free to play.
That is true. That is true. So I was gonna for the first one, since we're doing like sequels, I was like, yeah, as long as you get the franchise correct. But yes, it is Destiny. I tell you, it would be. I hinted.
I mean,
like every
Triple,
time
you
I
are
said it.
so
The hint-
freaking
the hint that
predictable.
got me
You know?
was Darth.
No,
You
it's
got
the
them to
first
say
time we're doing this, so I was like, let me go easy.
Come
for
on, you
guys.
could have picked something real weird. Maybe you could have paid an homage.
You know
to
what?
Doom
You know
and-
what you should have done? You should have done like an old franchise that has not been rebooted yet.
See, that's
on
the
And I
would've
said
said Fatal
Fatal
Frame.
not finding something so obscure no one's gonna know, like, hey, this old Japanese game from the 80s that no one really played.
Choo choo rocket.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Why does it have to be Japanese? You could have just said Twisted Metal.
I mean, yeah, it could be twisted.
Brave
I mean, people
Fencer
heard of
Musashi.
Metal. There you go. Like it's a really
Einherz,
old game.
Ernheidt,
But yes, the
whatever.
first game was Destiny 2. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
I'll
That
if we
was
do
kind
this
of
again-
anticlimactic. Well, we're gonna make it harder next time. You know,
Okay,
That's what
I
gotta
literally
say.
just it was the first
Yeah.
outing, so you got to get everybody accustomed to the
Lord.
process of how it works. 'Cause
Okay.
to be fair, I could have easily said Apex Legends. No, y'all failed. Anyway, but-
Yeah,
or better.
Yeah, I was
He's
thinking
being
about
honest
that,
with
but
us.
then you said not military shooter. I'm like, well, it's definitely not going to be. It's not going to be Apex because Apex it's a little bit sci-fi, but yet again, it's a military shooter. Either way you look at it, like it may not have tanks or vehicles, but it's still regardless.
It's like
It's
a
almost like
military
Call
shooter.
of Duty. Just you're moving faster and you're able to jump gen shit, basically.
All right, so let's go ahead and close out the show. It is 7:40. We are running kind of late, so let me go ahead and get our guests out already. David had left. His information will be found in the descriptions, as will Jago Kukin, who had internet issues. He couldn't stay in for too long because his internet wouldn't allow him. But Drawn TJ, tell us where we can find you.
You can find me on Xbox at DrawnTJ, or you can find me on Twitter / now X. Stupid name, but whatever. But yeah, DrawnTJ450. You can find me there on Twitter. And if you want to invite me to a game, we'll play any game.
There you go.
All right, cool. All right, next, Supa, tell us where we can find you.
I'm on YouTube at Supernova Gaming. Twitter is also Supernova Gaming. My PSN is Supernova Gaming, and my Xbox is Real Supernova.
And
his
you can also
firstborn
find
is-
him. And you can also find him on where else?
Here every
Come on.
Friday.
There you
Here every
go.
Friday,
Same
maybe.
bad
Yeah,
channel, same bad time.
He's waiting for that moment.
He didn't want to say it, Wise.
yeah, he's embarrassed because the host is drinking. But well, shit, I'm gonna finish it off. All right, Darth, where can we find you before the alcohol
Well,
kicks in?
Yeah, hopefully it does. You can find me at Twitter at Praxis Darth, and then on Xbox at Darth Praxis, and here every Friday night.
All right, great. Triple, where can we find you?
Yeah, you can find me on the X, the Twitter. That's a very bad opening. Find me on that X website. Anyway, Triple on YouTube. That's even worse. YouTube.
That
Twitter,
Wize Gamer tainted everybody in the panel. Now everyone's going to say you can find him on X. Yeah.
Wait. Videos or hamster?
Anyway, anyway, whenever
Both.
I am streaming on Twitch or YouTube or posting content on Twitter or X, you can find me at Triple Combo Gaming. And you can also sometimes, maybe occasionally, find me here with that person who likes to drink expensive stuff while I sip on my water when I do. So there you go.
With your dino piss.
Also, last thing I want to say, I'm mad nobody mentioned my profile picture that I have right now.
God Howard. I apologize.
I was just bouncing between different ones, but yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Jim, where can we find you?
On the Rated X website. I mean X website, whatever you want to call it. No longer the Bird website. Here, whenever. Along with any other show we might be running.
All right, great. Praxis.
Oh, you already hit me.
Yeah,
Oh, I did. Okay, the alcohol did kick in.
Ages
Good.
catching up to you.
All right, no, it's the alcohol. I mean,
It's a bad combination.
That drink's kicking in pretty damn good for you.
Shit, dude, you don't know. I gotta log off, guys. Yeah, I am as always the Wize Gamer, the man that brings the ick and stink and sticky. So yeah. Anyhow.
Butcher that
My
shit.
guy, please hit the showers after this, okay?
Ick and sticky.
Icky.
Ick and sticky. Icky and sticky. The guy who brings the icky and the sticky. Yeah. So
No.
yeah, remember, you can find out. I want to thank Drawn TJ for coming on, and as well as
Thank you.
David Faulkner, and yeah, we're gonna have you on again, Drawn, and same thing with
Yep.
David Faulkner, and as well with Jago Kukin. And apologize you couldn't stay that much longer, but you can find everyone's Twitter handles in the descriptions. Thank you for everyone who showed up in the chat. Doggy Dog, Back from the Dead. Let's see who else is here. RPG88, and of course,
Everyone hit the likes button and subscribe, please.
Yeah, and tweet this out, please. We're trying to grow this, and again, this is as much your show as my show, because there's a whole lot of other shows out there that are very serious, but it's Friday night, man. We're not trying to get too serious into this. We're just trying to sit back and watch a bunch of overage men who have no sex life talk about video games and get drunk in the process.
Yeah, we want to grow this.
So
Get
yeah.
some whiskey. We're doing our best.
Hey, man,
But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and that is our show for this week. I do not know who's going to be on next week, and yeah, we'll figure it out as the week progresses. Please hit the like, subscribe, and yeah, we will be developing a Patreon so that we can pay some of these individuals so that they don't feel like they're wasting their time, even though they are. And of course, you can find me, Wize Gamer with a Z, on PlayStation, Xbox, and on the X, both X Hamster, X Video, and Twitter. The form
XX. I'm sorry.
XXX, yes. And of course, yeah, there you go. That's our show, guys. Well, have a great night, and I'm developing it. After I showed my tits once, they banned me from OnlyFans. So yeah, there we go.
Damn.
Well, you just split half of the show, like the end of it, and you put, oh, this is my OnlyFans now.
Well, I got a message that says that those tits can't be jam because it's got to be jelly because jam doesn't shake like that. So yeah, there you go.
Oh, okay.
All right.
The hairiest cups I've ever seen.
Hey, double D, baby. Anyhow, y'all have a great night, and we will be talking to you next week. All right.
Yep.
Bye, guys.
Yeah.
And we are